Ah, finally, my favorite cup of coffee. Thanks, Ella. You're the best.
No problem, Alan.
Ella, aren't you forgetting something?
No? Why?
My change for the coffee.
Change? What change? Don't you know they changed the prices already?
Huh? What? Why? Why is everything so expensive now? This is extortion.
Many things are happening right now, especially with the current state of the world.
Here's your mission for today, young grasshopper. Can you please investigate why are prices going up?
Inflation? I think that's why prices are going up, right? Inflation is a rise in prices, which can be translated as the decline of purchasing power over time. In Singapore, majority of our essentials such as fuel and food are imported due to Singapore's resource constraint. External inflation is increasing our cost of living in Singapore, even though Singapore is taking steps to secure our food and energy supplies. Oh, no wonder why everything is so expensive now, even coffee.
Remember that when you come back, we need to prepare for the office party.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Excuse me, where did you find the balloons?
Balloons? They're over in the next aisle.
Oh, no wonder. How much are they?
They're about $15, I think.
$15?
Yeah.
They used to be 14.
Really?
Oh, everything is getting more expensive these days.
Well, I think it must be due to the inflationary cost.
Inflation.
Yeah, inflation.
Inflation. Oh, sorry, my name is Ella. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
nice to meet you. Dr. Faisal, Institute of Policy Studies.
Cool. So,
Hi.
do you know anything about inflation?
A bit. I did do some writing on this.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I have to finish buying things for my boss, but
Sure.
do you think it's okay if I ask you more questions about inflation later?
Yeah, sure. Not a problem.
How does inflation occur actually?
Basically, it's quite simple. It's about supply and demand.
Hmm.
When, for example, from the supply side, the supply side is restricted and the shortage of the goods actually causes the price to increase because there are a lot more buyers than there are people selling the stuff.
Why don't they just make more things?
Of course they can, but it will take some time for the supply side to catch up with the demand side, right? So in the interim, where there's still a shortage of supplies, there will still be higher prices from the point of view of the consumers, right? And essentially for the businesses, a high pricing is good in a sense. They wouldn't also want too many competition to drive the price down. So if the stuff becomes too cheap, there's no incentive for them to actually produce the stuff in the first place.
So is there a reason for inflation to exist? Is it a good thing, bad thing?
Inflation within limits is a good thing, I would say, because it increases the demand for goods. Consumers still want to buy things and producers still want to make things, for example. Essentially, a healthy inflation rate would be around 2% in terms of its level. Anything more than that, in terms of 5%, for example, we would consider as hyperinflation.
What about those people of lower income?
Yeah.
How do they cope with inflation?
For the lower income, normally the government does a sensing. It tracks the household income levels of all Singaporean households in general, and then they get transfers, for example. So these sort of vouchers actually tries to mitigate the impact of the rising transport costs for the lower income, right? They may even get, for example, waivers of utility charges.
You know, in Singapore, we don't have our own resources.
Right.
It all comes from somewhere, right?
Sure, we are price takers essentially, right?
Does that mean it's more expensive?
We have no choice but to import foodstuffs, for example, because we're like 90% dependent on imported foodstuffs. If you like a particular brand of coffee or type of coffee, let's say from some part of Africa, for example, and that part of Africa has got some problems in terms of exporting the coffee beans, the price of that coffee beans essentially will increase. So you may have to switch to another brand of coffee, for example, or the suppliers themselves may have to switch to another source of imports for their coffee beans.
So let's say one day we are able to grow our own food.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the prices of these food items would maybe drop?
essentially that's the aim. It's a very good aim, but the pricing essentially you just have to make it stable, right? We are quite limited in our land area, obviously, so the food items that we can grow are also quite limited, right? For example, we can't grow rice. This is a staple, right? We can't grow sugarcane. It's a staple in terms of sugar, right? So some items we cannot actually grow them or actually harvest them here in Singapore. We'll still be dependent on the outside partners, trading partners and suppliers for these sort of food items to come into Singapore.
Inflation is something that will persist throughout time. We should always remember to keep track of our finances. Taking care of our personal finance through careful planning is essential to keep pace with inflation. I should probably tell this to Ellen about spending wisely. This is a lot of items. I should probably look into that unused gym subscription too.
I'm really impressed how you blossomed into adult grasshopper, Ella. Looks like you passed the test.
So what does this mean?
This means you are getting a pay raise. Everything is getting too expensive these days.
Oh, thank you, Ellen.
Now that probation is over, are you ready for another batch of research?